Hello, welcome to Acoustic Spotlight, the program that profiles acoustic performers. I'm your host, Rich Petrak. Today, the spotlight falls on a singer-songwriter and great guitar player from Orlando, Florida, Bob Rafkin.
I'm gonna go to Mexico, find a place no one knows, somewhere peaceful and slow. Gonna go to Mexico. Take my old pawn shop guitar. Oh, I won't need my car. I'll leave it near a Texas town. Don't matter if it's ever found. I'm gonna go to Mexico, find a place no one knows, somewhere peaceful and slow. Gonna go to Mexico. Cross the border late at night, swim away from the Texas lights, throw my money in a garbage can. And my watch in the Rio Grande. I'm gonna go to Mexico, find a place no one knows, somewhere peaceful and slow. Gonna go to Mexico. Oh, I can dream and I can sing, do anything I please. Timeless is the moment, I do believe. Tell my mama and my dad, life's too short to live it so sad, from children's lullabies. Too quickly life goes by. I'm gonna go to Mexico, find a place no one knows, somewhere peaceful and slow. Gonna go to Mexico, go to Mexico, go to Mexico.
The new UCF College of Medicine will help Florida get all the doctors it needs. But until then, be extra careful. UCF stands for opportunity.
Welcome back to Acoustic Spotlight. I'm here with Bob Rafkin. Welcome to the show, Bob.
Thanks.
That was a lovely song. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I guess there's a funny side to it, because the door swings both ways. So here it is. Basically, it's a song about somebody. The setting of it is the Rio Grande, Texas, Mexico, and it's somebody who jumps in the water from the U.S. side and goes the other way. And I guess the thing that inspired me to write that song is I used to live in Southern California, which was near Baja, Mexico, and quite often when I was young, I would take my Volkswagen. You had to do it in a Volkswagen. You had to have a Volkswagen back then, my old VW. And me and my girlfriend would go down to Tijuana and Ensenada, and we'd pass by the Rosarito Beach Hotel, which is really cool. That was a big spot in the 30s for for all the actors and actresses. They go down to the Rosarito Beach Hotel, you know. But anyway, it's beautiful. Once you get past there, it's beautiful. So that's kind of the inspiration for it. You know, it's just kind of getting away, you know, doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
Incidentally, it's a nice house you have here.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like your pictures.
We'll add yours as time goes on.
Okay. All right.
You know, we could cover a lot of history with you. You've been playing for a long time, and you mentioned California, your time in LA, but you've been in Florida now about 15 years.
Yeah.
And since you've been out here, you've been pretty prolific in your writing. Can you talk about that a little?
Well, I started out playing in New York in the Village. I was there for a little while, then Los Angeles. But most of the time I was working as a backup musician. And I wrote a little bit. I didn't write a whole lot. I wrote a song for the Byrds when I was in Los Angeles. But it wasn't until I got out here and I got away from LA. I don't know why. I don't know what it was. It's just different. Maybe it's more nurturing out here. You get away from that rat race. We lived on a house right on the lake, very serene, nice place to go out there and write music. And I just started writing, you know. And I have 6 different CDs now, and I've been writing. Recently, I've been writing more instrumentals. Been getting into that, and I want to get into actually writing for movies, that kind of thing.
Did you start out playing the guitar? Is that your first instrument?
No, actually, my first instrument was the accordion, and I didn't.
My brother did.
If you can't afford a piano, you got to get an accordion. So my brother and I both took accordion lessons. I didn't stick with it. I thought it was the corniest thing in the world. But a couple years ago, I bought another accordion because it actually is a very hip instrument. Yeah. It's really cool, and I used it on a few of the CDs. I pull it out. It's great. I really enjoy it. But the accordion was sort of like, oh, you're going to learn an instrument, young man, and it's going to be the accordion. I figured, you know, rather that than the trombone, you know.
Right.
But then on my own, I decided to start playing guitar. So that was my own decision, and I stuck with it.
Did you teach yourself, or did you take lessons?
Kind of both, and I listened to a lot of records, old 45s, old Sun records, rockabilly, hillbilly, the early Presley stuff before he went Vegas, you know, real pure stuff. Carl Perkins, early Johnny Cash, that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff.
Even for your acoustic style, those same artists?
Yeah, I mean, you know, and also the Everly Brothers. In fact, I recorded with them a number of years later. But yeah, I played electric also, but I've always loved the acoustic, something about this instrument. And a lot of that stuff, early stuff, still had acoustic guitars on there. A lot of them chugging away, and you can hear that. So that was that influence, you know. And Chet Atkins, early Chet Atkins, and some of the old Delta blues singers, Mississippi John Hurt. I got a chance to meet him. He had relatives in Philadelphia, and I understand you're from Philadelphia.
Right, that's right.
Yeah. So there we go. Wow,
Small
what
world.
a strange, yeah. So I got to know him, and I was so into his music. I bought the same guitar that he had, not his own, but one just like
the
it.
Same style.
Took his guitar. Yeah.
Right.
No, and I learned some stuff from him, and but there are other influences too. But you just listen to stuff, you know.
And pick it up here and there.
Yeah.
Well, would you be kind enough to grace us with another tune?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be right back shortly, and when we are, we'll have another song from Bob Rafkin.
Greatness doesn't care how early it is or how late. Greatness doesn't care if anyone's watching. Greatness doesn't care about your clothes, your hair, or your music. The only thing greatness cares about is getting an opportunity. Where will you get yours? At UCF, we believe no dream is too big and no goal out of reach. On the fields, the courts, and in the classrooms, UCF stands for opportunity.
colors rushing, tumble in space, leaving a void in its wake. The hour draws near, but the clock doesn't toll. No needs, no fears, no call. Moonbeams fall on autumn night as we dance, as we dance. Moonbeams fall on autumn night as we dance the dance of life. The seasons turn as a wheel when it spins, changing from end to begin. Life's but a dream for all that we know, the union of flesh and soul. Moonbeams fall on autumn night as we dance, as we dance. Moonbeams fall on autumn night as we dance the dance of life. There's no chill in the night, though the winter moves in. We huddle together, friend to friend. The joy that is felt begins in the heart. A new dawn, a new start. Moonbeams fall on autumn night as we dance, as we dance. Moonbeams fall on autumn night as we dance the dance of life. Ancient scenes taught us to pray, opening eyes to the way. They buried the truth, coded in scrolls, waiting the time to be told. Moonbeams fall on autumn night as we dance, as we dance. Moonbeams fall on autumn night as we dance the dance, dance the dance, dance the dance of life. As we dance the dance, dance the dance, dance the dance of life.
Attendance, people, listen up. Albertson.
Here.
Barnes. Here. Swain.
Here.
Reyes.
Here.
Perez.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Gerbic.
Here.
Sellers.
Here.
Nguyen.
Here.
Omei.
Here.
And Miller.
Here.
In our classrooms and throughout our community, UCF stands for opportunity.
We're back with Bob Rafkin on Acoustic Spotlight. Well, let me tell you, you can play guitar, brother.
Thank you.
That was an unbelievable song.
Thank you.
You are a fantastic guitarist.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really. Do you instruct? Do you give lessons?
Yeah, I give lessons. I actually teach people, or attempt to. Yeah, do the best I can to teach people how to play the instrument.
Yeah, and can people find out about that on your website as far as getting in contact with you?
Oh, they can find out how to reach me on the website.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's at bobrafkin.com?
Yes, there it is.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's pretty clever.
Yes, that's it.
You play what is your guitar?
Oh, this is a Augustino. It's made in Clearwater, Florida. I have 4 of his guitars, and this is the one I use when I'm on your show. And
very nice. It
I'll
has
tell
a
you,
special
this is what,
case
this is the one I use when I'm on stage and stuff like that. I have another one I use if I'm just playing in places, where people can bang into it. So don't touch it.
Okay.
Whatever you do, don't touch this guitar.
Here's the question I have to ask you then. How many guitars do you own?
I think 11 or 12.
Really?
Yeah, they're all kind of different, and I have a personal relationship with each one of them. Sometimes we talk.
I actually thought that maybe was low. Through the history of your time of playing, though, I'm sure you've accumulated a lot more than that.
And I wish I held on to every one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some real classics, and I didn't know it at the time.
I bet your wife doesn't wish that, though.
Oh, she likes the guitars. They don't really get in the way. They don't eat much. They're quiet at night, except if I'm playing them.
Well, I mentioned before that you had, written a lot since you've been in Florida. This is Bob's latest CD, and you can find out about all of these discs and Bob's touring schedule if you go to bobrafkin.com. You mentioned before that you have a studio in your house.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I know Paul Girardi, a mutual friend of ours, recorded there with you and spoke very highly of you. And
oh, good.
Good. Have you done that very often with other people?
Well, the way it started out, it's called the music room, and it's just the music room in my house. And it started out for me to do my own stuff, and word got around. I didn't advertise, and now people come over and record and that kind of a thing. So that takes up a good bit of my time now, and I enjoy that. Recording other people. I usually end up playing on their stuff and getting involved in it in that way. So it's a lot of fun. It's fun to do.
Yeah. Do you ever recall a person hearing something as a child that really struck you, like towards the guitar, where it just made an impression on you, playing wise?
Probably a lot.
You mentioned Muddy Waters.
I mentioned Elvis Presley and Scotty Moore, his guitar player. He did a form of it's almost like Travis picking, which is real kind of a folky popular style, but also Chet Atkins, his style. But I like other finger stylists that are contemporary, you could say. I mean, Mark Knopfler, right. Great player. Lindsey Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac, he's also a finger stylist. But just a lot of it. It's a great way of playing. And the other thing I love is flamenco, which I'm starting to kind of dabble in it a little bit. Really? But that takes years to really master that. But it's beautiful, fiery music. I love that kind of stuff. So it's enjoyable to do.
Well, we have time for another number. Would you regale us with another tune?
Yeah. This next song I'm going to do is called "I'd Rather Be an Outlaw," and it's interesting. I wrote this song years ago, and it's very timely now because it's basically about eminent domain, and that's becoming a big issue now.
Right.
I see more and more stuff on the internet about it, and the reason I wrote the song, I was living in Los Angeles then, and it's a very crowded. L.A. County is in all of Southern California. It's really crowded, and they continue to build freeways. That's what they call them out there, the freeways, because they don't charge anything. They're freeways. Whenever they build a new freeway, if your house is in a way, they remove your house. So that was the inspiration. But the setting of the song was the railroads. When the railroads came through, it was very brutal. They would just confiscate your property, and if you got in the way, that was the end of you. It was kind of like that. So that was, but the freeway system was the inspiration. But now it's like really coming to the surface again, because people are losing their land, not just originally it was for schools and highways and courthouses and things like that. But now, I could wake up tomorrow in my community and right across the street from me could be a Walmart.
Right.
You know, so it's really changed. You know, so it's so the song is very timely now. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that song.
Great. Okay. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have one more from Bob Rafkin. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
So in 1975, the United States ranked 3rd in the world in percentage of... Must be the new guy. Guess you can say I was with you guys the whole time. New guy.
UCF and the Central Florida Research Park have helped create 41,000 jobs and contributed about $3.3 billion to the regional economy.
3, and that's only... New girl.
So if it seems like your company's growing, it probably is. UCF stands for opportunity.
Well, that's it for this edition of Acoustic Spotlight. Thanks to Bob Rafkin, and thanks to you for tuning in. Bob's going to lead us out with one more song, and we'll see you next time.
Trains, the distant sound of whistles, think it's getting louder every day. They say it's coming through here, they'll take my home away. But if they try, someone's gonna pay. Lord, I've never sinned, a peaceful man I've been, living by the book in every way. But when they came this morning for the land my daddy claimed, I looked them in the eyes and said with fame, rise me an outlaw if I leave this life behind. I'm not too good at being mean, I've always acted kind. If was an outlaw with 2 guns set to fight, raising Cain, I know your name and I'll get you in the night. Riding high, riding high, riding high. They held me at gunpoint and forced me off my land. They set the cattle loose in the house aflame. I fled up to the mountains, to the top of Devil's Hill. There I swore my vengeance on those trains. Stayed awake that night, made plans, set things right. How much do they think a man can take? I've always held my dignity, fought for what belonged to me. Thought again about the words I told those men. Ride me an outlaw if I leave this life behind. I'm not too good at being mean, I've always acted kind. If was an outlaw with 2 guns set to fight, raising Cain, I know your name and I'll get you in the night. Riding high, riding high, riding high. Here comes that train. The train pulled out next morning, heading down the track, gaining speed and rolling around the bend. No one saw me waiting with that stick of dynamite. though I never saw that train again. Now I'm on the run, living by my gun, hiding from the law day to day. And even if they stop me with a bullet in my heart, someone else will look at them and say, rather be an outlaw if I leave this life behind. I'm not too good at being mean, I've always acted kind. If I was an outlaw with 2 guns set to fight, raising Cain, I know your name and I'll get you tonight. Riding high, riding high, riding high. Riding high, riding high, riding high. Riding high, riding high, riding high.